I'm going to teach you how to build your success template. Success habit starts with step 1. You want to wake up in the morning and write down what you are going to achieve today. Now, it's really important if you're new to this to start with something really small that is definitely manageable, a positive thing that you can do in your day that you will absolutely be able to achieve. So it might be, you want to make sure that you have a glass of water before you have your breakfast. That's a health habit that you could get involved in. Or it may be that you want to make sure that you call your mom today, or you want to make sure that you embrace a slightly awkward conversation that you know you need to have. So you can decide the level of challenge you're going to give yourself today. But the point is that you set yourself a very small goal that you know you will be able to achieve, and you write it down. Now, this is really key. I don't want you to just wake up and think, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to achieve today. This isn't about knocking things off your to-do list. This is about selecting one beautiful cherry-picked thing that is going to be the thing you will achieve today. And as I say, you can start really small, and you write it down in your journal, on a post-it, whatever makes sense for you. Write it by hand. Again, if you know me, I'm a big advocate of writing things out by hand. There are all sorts of research that's been done to show that that will actually help you, not just in remembering what the thing is, but in actually achieving that thing. So write it down by hand. Today I will. Just a little side, don't write today I will not. So if it's something you don't want to do, like today you're not going to binge out in front of the TV, then instead write the thing that you are going to do. Like today I'm going to get an early night and sleep, right? Or today I am going to do something constructive with my evening. Try and be as specific as you can. Again, we are looking for not life-changing goals here, something that is easily achievable. So write that down. The next thing that you do when you're building your success template is you do it. You make sure that you get that thing done. Now, it's important to understand that, yes, you will have to prioritize whatever that task is, whatever that tiny goal that you've made for yourself. You will have to prioritize it over other things throughout the day. You have to keep it central. So if it is something you can knock off early, like you maybe like that water before you have your breakfast, or you're going to get to work 5 minutes early, something that you can get done at the beginning of the day, then that's great. It means you've done it. You don't have to worry about it, but you must get that thing accomplished. That is the goal. And if you are not sure, if you are just absolutely rammed, you haven't got lots of time, or your focus is split in 900 different directions, I understand. We've all been there. Pick something super manageable, something like you will make sure that you pick up a liter of milk on your way home. It doesn't have to be life-changing. I can't stress this enough. The point is you write down what you're going to achieve, something positive, and then you do it. That's step 2. You have to do it throughout the day. Whatever you need to shift in your day to make sure it gets done. And then the final step of this very simple, straightforward strategy is that at the end of the day, you go back to your journal or wherever you've written it down, and you acknowledge that you've done it. So bare minimum, you're going to write, I did this. I accomplished this. I managed to make this happen. You can then write about what the process was like, or celebrate that small win even more. You can talk about what the experience was. You can talk about any resistance that came up. That is all kind of icing on the cake. In terms of this particular strategy, the most important thing is that you document the fact that you did it. Now, something I want to say right now is if you have made your goal, for example, the goal for that day, the small thing that you've chosen is to have a difficult conversation with a colleague at work, for example. That's the thing. And that may not be that small. That may be just something that you know you want to get done. So you're going to put that as your goal for the day. And you have that conversation. Well, let's say the conversation didn't go very well. Let's say it brought up all sorts of other issues, or you didn't think that you did a good job in having that conversation, like you didn't reflect well on yourself, or you made a mess of it, or you were awkward and uncomfortable, or maybe your colleague was angry, or whatever. Maybe the conversation just did not go well. You still had the conversation, and that's the bit that you're reflecting on in the third step of this strategy. Did you do the thing you set out to do? In this case, in this example, have the conversation. Then you're writing down, I had the conversation. I was successful in what I set out to do. Remember, the goal at the beginning of the day was to have the conversation. The goal wasn't about what the outcome would be. And this tiny detail is absolutely key when you're building your success template. And that final step, when you write down, I did this, whatever it was. Yeah, I drank the glass of water. I went for the jog. I didn't binge out in front of TV. I had an early night. Whatever it is, you write it down and that's it. And then the next day, you do the exact same process with a different goal. And this is why this strategy is different from other strategies that you're going to come across. What we're not talking about right now is developing a specific habit in your life, except for the habit of building success. So your goal, that tiny goal that we're making, is going to change every day. I'm not asking you to stick with the same thing for each day. I'm going to refer back to that water example. You drink your water before breakfast. Well, if you did it the first day, okay, fine, that's great. And you might choose to do it again, and that's fantastic. And that is a positive habit that you might be building into your life. But what you're doing the second day is picking a different thing. The idea behind this is that we are developing the habit of achieving something each day. And we know that when we start to develop habits, they get incorporated into our life. And what you have actually done here when you create this is you've made a habit, right? You've done the cue, the routine, and the reward. That's your habit loop, and you may be familiar with that as a concept anyway. The cue is the writing it down, the making the plan to do something. The routine is the doing it, and the reward is the celebrating it at the end of the day, writing it down. And that writing it down at the end of the day, what that is doing, that is a reward, because it will release dopamine. Remember, that's one of your 4 happy chemicals, 4 happy brain chemicals, and it will release dopamine that celebrates the fact, it gives you a reward, that gives you that happy feeling because you have accomplished something. And then you do that often enough and your body starts to crave that dopamine, and then you start habitually achieving things. And that's when you get into the habit of being successful on a habitual basis and you start expecting success. So often we are pulled into a spiral of negativity because things haven't gone well today, and we reflect on the fact that they haven't gone well. And then the next day there is this undercurrent of expectation that they might not go well the next day. And when we start to expect that things aren't going to go well, we are actually developing a habit of failure. So this is turning it on its head, making sure that we're celebrating our small wins and being able to achieve things on a regular basis. As you start to use this strategy more and more, and as you start to become more confident with building your success template on a daily basis, you are naturally going to start setting those goals to be a little bit more challenging. It's not just going to be the glass of water. It's not just going to be the making sure you pick something up from the shop, or whatever you've done, whatever those small goals are that you start with, which is super important because they have to be achievable. As you get more comfortable, you will naturally begin to set your goals a little bit higher. And you might set that goal in the morning as being something that is going to be a game changer, or that is directly related to the bigger goal that you have right now, whether that's a goal to do with your relationships or your well-being or your wealth and career, whatever you're focusing on at the moment. So trust the process. Trust that you do need to start small to build up that confidence, to build up that habit of success, and that those goals that you set for yourself in the morning will get bigger, so that in a very short amount of time, you will be expecting yourself to achieve. And when you start expecting yourself to achieve, that is when you rise to that challenge. You rise to that level of success on a daily, regular basis.